Barbadians can expect the budget to be delivered in August. A new Roman Catholic bishop has been named. And in sports, India on course for a sizable first innings lead over a hampered West Indies. Barbados is under flood warning. The Met Office issued that warning this afternoon, and it will be in effect until 6 tomorrow morning. Reports indicate that a tropical wave has been affecting Barbados and the southern Windward Islands for the last 12 to 18 hours. The system has been producing cloudiness, isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly over the southern sections of Barbados. Analysis shows that these conditions will persist and gradually spread throughout the rest of the island tonight. And due to the prevailing conditions, flash flooding is expected in parts of the island. Residents in flood-prone areas are being advised to exercise the necessary precautions, and the Royal Barbados Police Force is advising that the road at Seaview, St. James, which was under repair, has become impassable due to the heavy rains. The police are therefore asking motorists using that road to be extremely cautious and or avoid it altogether. Government's 2011 budget will be delivered in August. The announcement today by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, who says it won't be done during the crop over period. He made the comments as he officially launched the VAT and Excise Tax Administration System.
The budget will be delivered. We will make an announcement on when the date is shortly. We think we've finalized the date yesterday at Cabinet, and we will make an announcement shortly. There are a number of things that have to be gone through first before we get to budget day. Concert. No. Very soon. We're not going down to no Christmas. We are not going past August, for example. So that's out of the question. We have to do consultations with the social partnership and the usual things that we have to do before we actually get to the budget day.
Mr. Sinclair says the budget will have three main objectives, the primary being reducing the fiscal deficit. He says consultations will be held across sectors before the budget is presented.
The first objective is to get government's public finances in order, that is reduce the deficit, which we have. The second is to, and this is short and medium term, the second is to ensure that we can return the economy to growth, to a sustainable growth path as soon as possible. And the third is, which underpins all of this, in the medium to long term, to do major restructuring of the Barbados economy, which has not had any restructuring of any serious nature in the last 20 to 30 years.
Well, there will not be any increases in land tax. The assurance today from the Finance Minister following speculation that an increase was coming. That speculation stemmed from valuation notices recently sent out by the Land Tax Department informing owners that property values have gone up. Mr. Sinclair says any thoughts of a hike in land taxes are out of the question.
There is a valuation notice which has been posted out every 3 years. The department by law has to do a valuation of the properties in the country because you want to know what properties in the country are worth. Those valuation notices have been posted to people. They are free to object to those valuations if they believe the valuations do not fairly reflect the cost of their properties.
Well, Mr. Sinclair says valuations by the Land Tax Department are usually considerably lower than those of private valuers. He says Barbadians can object to the valuations if they feel they're too high or too low. A new secure web-based integrated information system for tax administration in the VAT and excise divisions of the Customs and Excise Department has been launched. It's called VITAS and has been made possible with support from the Inter-American Development Bank. It will go into effect from July the 18th. Acting Director of the VAT Division, Anthony Gittings, says VITAS will allow the Customs and Excise Department to offer online services to taxpayers via the Internet or through the front desk of the VAT and Excise Tax Divisions.
How do we access VITAS? VITAS is accessed by the use of a computer, and it is found at the domain evitas.customs.gov.bb. It is recommended that to access VITAS, we use one of the three recommended browsers: Internet Explorer 8 or above, Google Chrome 10 or above, or Mozilla Firefox 3.6 or above. Of the other internet browsers that are available, they will work, but these three are the ones that the system was built to work on. They have been tested extensively, and we assure you that they are working very well.
Mr. Giddings says for taxpayers to register with VITAS is a 13-step process. He adds that they can object to assessments in 21 days. He says taxpayers can also use a smart tax system built into the program.
The Smart Tax Return is a small computer program that is built into VITAS, and it allows taxpayers to download the tax return to their system, complete the return as they want, make as many changes to the tax return, and then save it to their desktop. You can make as many changes as you want, and when you are ready, you can click on send. The system will prompt you to enter your taxpayer identification number and your password, and then it will log back into VITAS without you doing anything further. It will log into the system and file the return.
2 secondary schools will have 6 forms when the new school year begins in September. Minister of Education Ronald Jones says they are the Christchurch Foundation and the St. Michael's Schools. Noting that the 6th form serves as a bridge between secondary and tertiary education, Mr. Jones says creating this capacity within secondary schools will provide additional places for students. The Education Minister also spoke about competency-based Caribbean vocational qualifications, or CVQs. He says training for these qualifications will start in at least 4 schools in September and eventually will be delivered in all secondary schools across the island. The 4 schools ready for that start are St. Lucie Secondary, St. Leonard's Boys, St. George Secondary and the Princess Margaret Secondary. Barbados' newest centenarian is urging young people to grasp the many opportunities being offered in today's society. She is Eloise Rock of Arlington St. George. Celebrating that occasion with Miss Rock were several of her siblings, nieces, nephews and some of her close friends from the area. The centenarian was also visited by Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands and Parliamentary Representative for St. George South, Dr. Esther Bayer-Suku. Ms. Rock says she came from humble beginnings and her life was not easy. She sewed her own clothing, even selling some of those garments to make ends meet. Ms. Rock is calling on the younger generation to be grateful that they're living in better times.
Much of the opportunity. Some get some opportunities that the older people never even heard about. Much opportunity. And don't fool yourself. Don't say you're going up the road when you know you're going down. The end, you will get the bitter end, the bitter part of the problem. So, be positive. Nobody can make you do anything.
Ms. Rock added that while she is proud at having reached this milestone, it is even more pleasing to see the number of people who came to share in this joyous occasion. Coming up, a new Roman Catholic bishop has been named for Barbados. A former senior police officer has been talking about future implications for the force. Retired Deputy Commissioner Charles Blades says changing characteristics of the society could have a profound impact on policing. He was addressing the closing of a senior investigative management course at the Regional Police Training Centre. Mr. Blades has identified the illegal drugs trade as one area of major concern.
There is currently in our society the scourge of drug trafficking, which can be considered more lucrative for many who do not have marketable job skills. Drug abuse has generally become a matter of choice. There's a strong link between drugs and crime. There's also the use of illegal firearms in the commission of crime. Greater alcoholic abuse, which probably result from the emphasis on pleasure, and also the AIDS epidemic. Our society has become less concerned with crime victims' rates than criminal rates.
Well, Barbados has a new Roman Catholic bishop. He is Trinidadian Monsignor Charles Jason Gordon, Vicar for Administration of the Archdiocese of Port of Spain. Bishop-elect Gordon will take over from Bishop Malcolm Galt, who retired in 2005. Monsignor Vincent Blackett, who has been the diocesan administrator for the past 6 years, has welcomed the appointment.
I've had him preach here at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I've had him come and give retreat to our clergy. And he is a member of the Living Water community, and it would be well known to all those who are associated with the Living Water community. I am very happy about this appointment because here we have a very talented West Indian who will be at the fore of the church here in Barbados.
Well, the new Roman Catholic Bishop of Barbados will be ordained on September the 21st, and Monsignor Vincent says there will be other changes.
Barbados, which really belonged to the province of Port of Spain, will now remain with Port of Spain. St. Vincent, which was part of the province of Castries, will now go to Port of Spain. So Bishop Jason Gordon, or Bishop-elect I should say, will be bishop for both dioceses, Diocese of Bridgetown and the Diocese of Kingstown.
Crop over news now. The National Cultural Foundation says it will do all in its power to revive the tuk band culture in Barbados. The number of people playing tuk has been steadily declining over the years, but NCF official Karen Pestena has pledged to do something about the situation. She's the event coordinator for the First Citizens Pan Fusion, which is now the premier pan event on the crop over calendar. According to her, tuk will be featured at the Ilaro Court show, and the NCF will be pushing it at other events as well.
Performance-wise, the NCF has taken a role this year to ensure that tuk band, there's an element in a lot of our events, and I mean even here at Pan Fusion you will see, and also you will see in other events too, tuk bands are going to play a major role within, I will say to you, all of the Pan events, because you know we are running from the 14th to the 17th straight through with Pan, and there are elements of tuk and showing different fusions and utilizing. We have tuk bands are even merging together. I don't know if there's something called a tuk band orchestra. I stand to be corrected on that part of it, but you will be seeing that. So we are doing our part in promoting and carrying tuk bands further and further.
Ms. Bestina says a special effort will be made to expose young people to the art form.
It's about letting also to younger persons, trying to gain interest from them into the whole tuk band playing, etc. And a lot of work still is done. Don't forget, in our cultural development department, we work very closely during crop over, and that is why you will see tuk bands appearing, and you know, workshops will be happening to increase this also too.
And the NCF is reporting that judging of the pick of the crop preliminaries scheduled for tonight has been postponed due to the inclement weather. The judging will now take place at the Kingdom of the Super Gladiators at the Village Gate at 8 p.m. on Sunday. World-renowned jazz musician Arturo Tapin is batting Barbados for Pan Fusion, and he's been talking about some of the work he's been doing with young local musicians. Speaking at the launch of the new crop over event yesterday, he said many young musicians, especially those coming out of the Barbados Community College, can go far in the music industry. He explains what young musicians would need to do if they want to make music a career.
As long as you become very good at what you do, eventually doors open. When I first started playing music, I did it because I loved music, and I played everywhere I could, every opportunity I could, from the Bel Air to Coach House to Ship In to Harbour Lights, with every band I could. People would be traveling from Europe to the Caribbean, and they would see you perform, and I would get called to do jazz festivals all over the world. And eventually, Roberta Flack was on holiday, and she saw me and she took me on tour. Same thing with Luther, Anita Baker. Once you develop your craft at the highest level and you have opportunities to expose yourself, people are going to take notice, as you would well be aware of Rihanna's story.
Pan Fusion comes off July 14th at Ilaro Court. First Citizens is a sponsor and has contributed $117,500 to support the staging of that event. Still to come, calls to find ways to get agricultural produce to move freer throughout the region. Right now, the Courts Quiz. Who was the first principal of the now defunct St. Leonard's Girls' School?